What is up, my people? What is up, my people? This is your boy Venard Scott, the KillaKrane himself. It is November the 15th, 2000. Add 24 to him. Today, I am joined by my boy, the Grim Fate himself, David Sua. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yeah, see what you got it right.
Thank goodness. David Sua. What's going on, David?
This is going good, pretty good. Nothing going on really. Just happy to be on the podcast again. Missed it.
Glad to have you on here. It is always a pleasure when you show up. And I got to give my shout out to my boy David. You know what I'm saying? He be giving me some great suggestions on a number of things. And I really appreciate that. So
Yeah,
appreciate that, brother.
I'd hop on camera, but a mosquito stung my eyelid, and I don't want to get that all on camera. You
Right,
ever
right.
get that? A mosquito bites you right on the eye, like ugh.
Oh
But
man. I've
I
had
can't, I can
as a
barely
matter
like
of fact,
open
I
my eye
have
a little bit.
something. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can barely like it kind of hurts to blink a little bit. That's why I've been like, yeah, I'm not gonna be on camera because I'm just be like looking like I'm winking at the camera like all the time.
Oh
Like,
man,
come
it's
on, man.
all good, brother. It's all good. So for anybody who wants to join, you could do just like David and just use your voice. If you need instruction, I can help you with that. If you just want to do text or whatever, you know what I'm saying, give a suggestion. That is fine with me. Any participation is appreciated, even if you don't want to go live and you want to leave a comment when this is over with, I'd appreciate it. I've been that brother where insects have bit me and I've swollen up. So I totally understand that, brother. So appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. I'm sure Lamar and Marzell going to show up later. Even my boy Terrence, who always comes on the podcast and leaves some text below and some comments. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of y'all who are watching. So, David, any shout outs before we get started?
Nothing really. Just Juice Weezers again and the Everest Productions. As just that my little stuff I do.
Oh yeah, I always talk about that when we're doing the outros, but I'll do it right now. Juice Weezers and the Everett production on YouTube. Check it out. Check it out. So, um, the only thing I have, I try to stay away from politics, but I do want to say, oh, Denzel Washington. He said he got what 3, 4 movies left, maybe 5, and then he gonna call it quits. Oh my God, such a phenomenal actor. Everybody loves them some Denzel. One of them is going to be included as Black Panther 3. My God, it is going to be one of the greatest Black Panther movies. How
They
can you
should have
go wrong with that?
they should have tried to get him on there faster though. I'm just saying. uh,
That
he, he should have gotten on a little connection issue. He should have gotten there faster. You know what I mean? They should have tried to get
right.
Denzel in those movies way faster because he was like a student, like one of the inspirations for Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? I think it would have been good to see those two on screen together in those movies.
It sure would have, man. What you talking about? They always do one of those fan fictions, especially with AI, and they were like, if made in the 80s or 90s, everybody would say that Denzel Washington would be the Black Panther. I would say, what's the guy who played Blade?
Uh,
Uh,
oh dang, I forgot.
Brain
Wesley
Dead.
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
There you
Now
go.
he was supposed to originally be the first Black Panther, but it didn't go through, and he did Blade and did a awesome job. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it still turned out great. Chadwick Boseman did an amazing job. So um since we don't have any other shout outs or birthdays or anything, I guess we'll just keep it going. All right. First thing we're gonna talk about this Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. Um, any thoughts, David? Comment.
I can't wait to see Jake Paul get knocked out. That's all I'm saying. I'm very excited for that.
Ooh, that's what everybody's saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know they might say, "Oh, Mike Tyson's a little too old. He's a little too, he's got getting on in years. He can barely move." But I mean, the moment you see him get back into training, he was pushing his trainer back. I was watching
Right.
the clips of him getting training, and his trainer was trying to fight for his life, hiding and pushing away back from him while he was throwing his punches. I think I think Jake Paul was taking it a little too casually, thinking he's an old man, so that might bite him in the butt. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. I've
That's the
seen
kind
Jake.
that
Go
happens
ahead.
to a lot of fighters, doesn't it? Like I think Muhammad Ali got a little comfortable when he was boxing, and then he came across a guy who like not George Foreman, somebody where he was like he got a little too comfortable, and he was like, "I'll handle this guy, no problem." You get a little too comfortable being on top, fighting people that are bums. When somebody really good shows up, you're like, "Oh wait, I wasn't expecting somebody really good to take me down." And Tyson has too much experience to just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna take you on," even if he is an old man. You know?
Right. And Tyson has went through that as well. Who was the first one? He was it Lennox Lewis that he lost against, and he thought he had it in the bag. And he had did it in that interview. He said the time he had slacked off on his training, he was doing a little cocaine, he was sleeping with women. But
Well,
beforehand, this what'd you say?
that's the kind of thing though. The Tyson in the '80s was on top of the world. I mean, it was kind of a little difficult for him to not to fall into some of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Everybody in
Mm-hmm.
the '80s was doing that booger sugar, bro.
Yeah, that book of sugar, huh? Man, he had to be on something, Tyson, because there was a rumor, and I think it was true that he went to a zoo and he offered zookeeper like thousands of dollars if he could fight a gorilla, and the dude was
Yeah, he
like, "No."
saw he saw the gorilla bullying like the other little gorillas. He was trying to show dominance, and he's like, "You let me in, then I'll fight the gorilla. I'll take him on. Let's see if he can handle the champ."
Right. That zookeeper saved his life that day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think he knew how strong a gorilla was. I mean, like maybe Tyson could take on like a baby gorilla when it's like barely learning how to walk. You know what I mean? I think that believable, but a full grown gorilla, I don't think Tyson can handle it. I don't think anybody can handle that really. They're
Man, even
dangerous
a baby
creatures.
gorilla. We was talking about that. I hate to switch gears, but we were talking about that with Return of the Jedi, and there was like, it's so ridiculous because the Empire got beat by a bunch of teddy bears, and I was like, those are bears. Have any human being tried to fight a bear? I don't care if it's a baby bear. Them things can tear your ass. Even a koala go.
Oh no, Ewoks are terrifying. There's this in Battlefront 2, I think a game. They have a game mode where it's like you get hunted by the Ewoks at nighttime and their eyes glow red at night. So they like hide in the bushes. They're terrifying creatures. You gotta forget
Oh,
they're kind of like little savage beings. They look cute, but they're dangerous. You don't live in the woods, like they're not herbivores.
right. And there was a rumor. I know we're getting off topic, but where at the end they were celebrating with the Yup Nub song, which is the only way to end the Return of the Jedi. But anyway, they were playing with the stormtroopers' helmets, and then there was like, well, they ate those stormtroopers first, then they played with their helmets.
Well, they had to. Well, why would they have so many fires? They're barbecuing. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
crazy.
We need to have another podcast just on that. But we got to get back to this Mike Tyson's fight. We got some comments. My boy Terrence, what's going on? I just gave you a shout out, brother. It's out. Shout out to you. Elevations with high vibrations to your channel, your podcast. As they used to say back in the 70s, solid. Um, Terrence says, were they showing any of the other guys working out and training like they was doing Mike? I saw Jake Paul, and he looked like me, like maybe about 10 years ago when I was trying to get back into shape, and I went into cardio boxing classes, and that's what he looked like. I mean, he looked like he didn't look like a trainer. I mean, some of it he was looking tough, but he said he was going to concentrate on cardio because that was going to outlast Tyson. But if Tyson gets him in the corner, oh my God, it's going to be a murder fest. Oh my God. So, that old show was like 1,000 ways, no, a million ways to die. Well, one way he can die is, he be already pissing off Mike Tyson by stepping on his foot during that weigh-in. You saw that?
Yeah, I mean, he got slapped in the face for his troubles. So,
Right.
I mean,
So,
he got slapped and then he tried to act like he didn't affect him or anything, try to act hard right afterwards, but he wasn't the one getting held back. They had to get like 10 people to hold Tyson back the moment they saw that slap go off. So I mean, that goes to show who they think is more dangerous.
Did you see that one thing? It was after, I believe it was after he bit off Evander Holyfield's ear, and they brought all the sheriff's department in there, and the sheriff department looked terrified when Mike Tyson was shouting at them, and they had guns.
It was like, we were bringing up the gorilla thing. I mean, they saw him. They thought he was a dangerous animal. He was going to punch every one of them. You can't blame them. He's the champion of the world, basically.
Uh-huh. And Mike Tyson has that killer instinct. He grew up, they said by the time he was like 13, he got arrested like 20 times. And he used to, go to sleep on a just a mattress, not a box spring, but just a mattress. And his mama would be right next to him prostituting herself. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of slums and stuff that he grew up in. He has a killer instinct. Jake Paul, I mean, what the hell?
He's too goofy right now. I think I don't think he's taking it seriously enough. Because there was this clip going around of him in like a fat suit, like training and stuff, doing a commercial or something instead of, showing off his training. I think that it would have benefited. It makes it look like this fight is just a joke to him, which to Tyson, this is his comeback right now. Tyson has more to gain from this than Jake Paul does. If he wins, he proves that he's still got it. If Jake Paul wins, I mean, what Jake Paul gets out of it? He just beat another guy who's a little bit out of his prime. So, I mean, the one who gets the most out of this would be, Mr. Mike Tyson, the champ. That's the only one who gets anything out of this match. Jake Paul just gets to say, "I beat a man who's way out of his prime. Look at me, I'm Jake Paul." That's not how you win a fight. I mean, that there's a reason. In the '80s, this matchup would have never happened. He's way too out of his league. That's why he's waiting for. That's why he kind of waited for now. If he was a champion before Jake Paul was even in diapers.
Exactly, and Tyson started him off. Oh, we got comments. Terrence says Roy Jones said he wasn't going to hit Mike with an uppercut because it might remind him the throw some. Oh, let's see. Remind him the throw some because he be in the corner high on mushrooms and herbs. Well, that was a good point too. He didn't. Roy Jones didn't want to awake that beast in Tyson, and that's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because Mike, like I said, has that killer instinct. So, I hope he don't pull no shady stuff like that. Like in Creed 3, where a dude stepped on the dude's foot and gave him an uppercut and all kind of stuff. That's not gonna work.
I hope it's not just like because it's Netflix. They might try to pull some scripted stuff. I don't want that kind of stuff. I hope it's legit. It's a legit bout and not some theatrical stuff like some wrestling stuff. Nothing wrong with wrestling stuff. I love watching wrestling stuff, but this is a match that people are actually excited for. I hope to God it's like that movie Rocky Balboa, not the first one. No, the fifth one. No, the sixth one when he came back and he's like an old man and he's like, I'm going to fight Mason Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
If stuff goes well, we're going to get Jake Paul knocked out thinking he's the champ, getting beat by a 60-something-year-old man.
And I'm glad you brought that up, David. You remember that Rocky Balboa movie, the one you're talking about? Mason got his arm broken or something. He tried to punch Rocky in the hip, I believe it was, and he broke his hand or something, wasn't it?
I don't remember exactly. I remember the thing with Mason Dixon is he fought bums in that movie, so he fought nothing but bums during his fights. So he did not. When he fought Rocky, he was like, "This is just an old man at this point." So he was like, "I'm gonna just beat him and go through it." Again, that's because he thought Rocky was just an old man, way out of his prime. He's in his best years are behind him. Once again, it proved to him. It was proven wrong against him because he got knocked right out, clean after. Well, he lost by points, not by a knockout, I don't think, but he still lost.
Right. So Rocky had that killer instinct just like Tyson did. You know what I'm saying? So, and you can't. It starts mentally. You know what I'm saying? And Jake Paul, he's just some suburban dude. You know what I'm saying? Who had aspirations of. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I would never fight Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? Black belt in martial arts and everything. I wouldn't fight Jake Paul. I think if my 46-year-old self fought him, I'd lose. Okay, I give him his props. He's pretty good, especially for somebody who's not quote unquote a professional fighter per se. But Mike Tyson level, he is not. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying right now. Uh, Again, this is again out of his prime Tyson, so it might not go well. It might not go well, but let's just say it's just for Jake Paul. This matchup, he has everything to lose, but Tyson has everything to lose and everything to gain at the same time. If he loses, his legacy is kind of tartared because this random guy, this random YouTuber beat him up. But if he wins, he proves that he's still the champ in everybody's eyes, and he's one of the best in the world, even after his prime. That everybody who's even if you're a little older, you still got it. You still can become a professional fighter. You still can prove that you are the best. And not to mention, he's probably got that old man strength going on for him, too. I know you don't mess with that old man strength. When you're an old guy, the older people, they just go, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. The only way I could see, I'm going to flip the script here. The only way I can see Jake Paul winning, number one, if he tries to pull, I put this on Facebook, he tries to pull some Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali stuff where he's just like punching Mike Tyson and pissing him off and trying to burn out his energy the first few rounds or something.
He's not
Or
gonna win by points. That's my assumption. By points is his best win strategy. You can't win by knockout.
not at all. Mike Tyson, you seen the way he was training, and even he was using the machine where he was pushing his head against the what do you call that thing? Where it's like resistance against your neck.
I wouldn't know. I don't work out that. I don't work out at his levels, so I wouldn't know. I don't think anybody's been working out at Mike Tyson's level.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I honestly think that even if Jake Paul gets against the ropes and tries to do a little rope a dope stuff, Mike Tyson could punch his arm, and even though he's blocking, he could break his arm in half. You know?
That's one of Mike Tyson's biggest strengths is his strength. You know what I mean? One of those people are terrified of those punches. I don't know why Jake Paul is taking this so lightly. I mean, even if he's an old man, I mean, those punches are still gonna do a lot of damage. He's one of the strongest strikers in the entirety history of boxing. Yeah.
Exactly.
The only one that compared to him was Tommy Morrison, I think. But I mean, we never got that fight. I would have loved to see that.
Oh, that would have been cool. Didn't Tommy Morrison? Didn't he? Was he the one? The white guy died of
Rocky
HIV or
Five, yeah.
something?
He was in, I don't know. He was in Rocky Five. I don't know about HIV. He probably did have that, but he was the guy from Rocky Five that Rocky was training when he was like coming up. But
Right.
he won the. I think he won the world heavyweight title against George Foreman though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
but people compared him to Tyson like a lot.
yeah. I mean, that shows how great you are when people start comparing you to other people. Like the newcomers that compare you to them. So, fantasy fight. I know we're both big nerd geeks. So, Mike Tyson versus Clubber Lang from Rocky. Who you think will win?
Mike Tyson versus Clubber Lang. Is that what you said?
Yes, Mike Tyson versus Clubber Lang.
Well, I think even though Mike Tyson came out like Mike Tyson showed up on the scene after, like everybody was like, yeah, that's Mike Tyson. Whenever they watch the movie, they're like, Apollo Creed, that's Muhammad Ali. But when they see Clubber Lang, they're like, that's Mike Tyson right there. I
Right.
think that just goes to show that's the comparison. But here's the thing: Mike Tyson has way more skill, way more strategy, and probably the same amount of strength if you're in the universe. In that movie, people's punches are gunshots basically, but I think Mike Tyson edges out on skill alone because we all know that Clubber Lang gets gassed out really early in a fight. That's why Rocky outlasted him because he out of the gate he's really strong, but he does not over time he deteriorates way faster than a lot of people. That's why when people say Ivan Drago versus Clubber Lang is a good striker in the beginning, but he gasses out pretty fast.
Right. Right. Ivan Drago, they showed him getting a shot of something. They didn't say it was steroids, but we all know it was during that time. So that man was a monster, and just like his real life counterpart, Dolph Lundgren. I wanted to talk about that too when we were talking about. We're going to talk about later on. Talk about video games to change it to movies, and I wanted to talk about the He-Man movie and stuff like that. Um, Terrence says Morrison got beat to sleep in the corner. And he also says Mike will be Mr. T Mohawk off. I like that analogy. Uh, yeah. So I appreciate the comments, brother. Now, let's see. What point was I trying to make? Um, yeah, I just can't see. What other ways can you see? Because everybody is 100% going for Tyson. What ways do you think that Jay Paul can pull this off?
I mean, again, Mike Tyson's an old man. Again, he has to outlast him some way. That's the only way he's gonna do it. Is it because Mike Tyson? He's old. Old people they gas out a little quickly. They don't have a lot of energy eventually. But that's like the only way. He has to outlast him or win by points. He has to win by points or he has to outlast him and try to avoid him and try to tire him out as best they can. But again, that's even if he does try to just keep moving around him and stuff, he's gonna tire himself out while trying to avoid those big punches that Mikey's gonna hit.
Right. And they are using lighter weight gloves, to my knowledge, for this fight. And I think it's only 8 2-minute rounds. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like the old, I think it was 15 rounds back in the day, and then they moved it to 12. Am I correct on that?
I'm not sure. I haven't brushed up on my history of the sport just yet, but yeah. All I know is, it's probably not going to go well. It's not going to go well for either one of them. Hopefully it doesn't shorten Mike Tyson's life or something like that. You know what I mean? And I hope it doesn't, just like go end in injury, like badly beaten for Jake Paul.
Right. Right.
Because
Break his rib.
as much as I don't like Jake Paul, I mean, I would like to see him get in the ring with somebody modern, somebody who could actually fight nowadays, like a modern day fighter. He likes to talk a lot of smack, but I think he should face off against the monster from Japan. I forgot his name, but he's a beast, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't, to be honest, I've kind of lost my flair for boxing. You know what I'm saying? Even for UFC, yeah, I kind of lost my flair for it early on, and then there's been like several different UFC type competitions, and so
His name's Inoue. I can't pronounce it, but he has like so many championships. He's 28 wins and 0 losses. And I think that if Jake Paul after this match wants to actually fight against somebody, wants to actually go up against somebody, you know what I mean? I think he needs to go up against somebody modern. Even if he loses, going up against somebody like the Beast, who's like a modern day Mike Tyson that people are afraid of, he could probably get a good legacy out of this, not just a guy who fought people out of their prime.
right, right. I 100% agree. He needs to start lightweight. This is a little bit too heavy. You know what I'm saying? So this is like coming straight out the hospital and trying to eat a steak dinner when you should be starting with soup or something like that. He just diving in here. Um, my boy Terrence said, "Can Mike beat Rocky or the Russian?" Well, we were just talking about that. Um, Rocky has plot armor. That's what the problem with comparing people in fictional movies, because Rocky always loses at first and he learns from his mistakes, then he comes
Well,
back.
I like it. I like it, but the thing is, Rocky likes to eat punches for breakfast. That's his main defense. He gets punched in the head so many times that that's why they had to stop fighting because he just lets himself get punched in the head so much.
Mm-hmm.
But and he only developed good like blocking and like weaving skills like when he fought Mason Dixon out of his prime. I don't think he can. I don't think he can go the distance with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson won't gas out that quickly like Clubber Lang would. And the only reason he faltered against Ivan Drago was because he killed Apollo Creed.
Right.
that I mean, when he killed Apollo Creed, it kind of set him over the edge. You know what I mean? It kind of like added an intimidation factor, which is why he was terrified of Apollo Creed. No, when he was terrified of Ivan Drago at the time, why he was gassed, they getting a little. It was like Mike Barnes versus Daniel LaRusso. He was terrified because, I mean, he killed a guy. So why wouldn't you be terrified? You know,
Right.
like you're getting all these threats.
Yeah, and Apollo Creed before he was fighting, he took it too lightly, and he was even dancing ahead of time, and just kind of just at being a fool. So he didn't have that killer instinct, again. So I don't know, and he should
I
have threw
felt
in the towel.
his teacher, his trainer, his coach, Jake Paul's coach, should be acting like Mickey right now. I'm just saying because in Rocky 3, he was like, "You can't fight this guy, Rock.
Right.
He'll eat you alive." That kind of stuff. That's what his trainer should be saying to him. I don't know why he's trying to fight a guy who has nothing to lose and everything to gain at the same time.
That's a good point. He should have the towel ready to throw on, Jake Paul, huh?
Uh, Again, Jake Paul, I think he has some skill behind him. I think if he actually, fought some modern day fighters, some people who are, like in their prime, he could, in fact, have a good career on his hands, a good legacy. When he gets out of boxing and stops boxing, can look back and go, I fought the best of the best, not the best of the best at their worst.
Yeah, right, right. Got some more comments. Terrence says, try to go to distance with Mike. I guess he's talking about Jake Paul. Is going to try to go to distance. He's going to have to do some major footwork. You know what I'm saying? And even then, Mike has that experience. He can watch him for the first fight and a round and a half, just to see how his footwork goes. And if he sees his stance is too wide and he can't cross up or, dance around the right way, Mike's going to catch him. He's going to play chess game with him. You know what I'm saying? So, my boy Daryl West. Hey, it says, hey, Venars, LOL. Hold my beer while I plug you in with 1,800 followers. I just now shared this podcast to my page. I appreciate that. I really do. If you guys can do the same, I would really appreciate it. You can like and share this. Tell other people about it. I don't have to stick on like 80s and 90s nostalgia. The only subject which I try to uh, stay away from is politics for a number of reasons. I just don't like it. It's just not exciting to me, and you really don't get nothing done. Plus, there's so much stress in the world. I like to have fun with these podcasts. And that's why I had to quit talking about relationships because it got a little bit too personal to people, even though I think that the sex topics that we talked about were 100% necessary. But I really appreciate that, Daryl. Big supporter. So let me see. Oh, if you guys want to join, the link is in the description. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, you should see the link. It says, here's the link in the top of the page. If you can't find it, I am monitoring Facebook. Just let me know if you want to join. Terrence says he better run like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather likes to do that rope-a-dope stuff. And Jake Paul better not do that. He better not do that.
Yeah,
Okay?
didn't he fight Floyd Mayweather, or was that his brother? I don't know. One of them fought Floyd Mayweather and lost. I think it was Logan, actually. He
That was his brother.
He lost to Floyd Mayweather. Again, even then, that proves that even though Floyd Mayweather wasn't an active boxer at the time or a champion or anything at that point, he showed up and he beat the brakes off of Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, even then, he should have taken a hint from that these fighters may be out of their prime, but they have more skill. They train longer. They've been in the business longer. They have everything to gain from beating a young guy. Well, they have nothing to gain really. But like somebody at Mike Tyson's age with his kind of legacy, I mean, once again, he's got everything to gain from this. I mean, when he shows off that he still got it, it'll show that everybody, stop looking down on him just because he's a bit older at this point. I don't know
Right.
why. And that's the best part about this. Nobody has really been looking down on him. They're like, yeah, he's gonna eat Jake Paul for breakfast, and I'm excited for that. But when he proves it tonight, I'm gonna be very excited.
Right. Right. Another way I think that he could probably win is if the referee is siding on Jake Paul's side, and Mike Tyson likes to eat punches sometime, and he come with that little calling the fight, oh, he hasn't put his hands up in so many seconds.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
the kind of thing you gotta worry about too. These are new boxing rules. The boxing landscape has changed since Tyson's time. There are a couple of new rules, a couple of new things. That old man strength, yeah, 100%. Somebody named Marzel Paler said you got that old man strength, and that's 100% true in that. Yeah, you gotta watch out for the old man strength.
mm-hmm. He ain't gonna hold back. He don't give a damn no more. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
the
we're
longer you live, the more drama you get up in your head. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna awake something up, and it's gonna be like an anime. As a matter of fact, I wish I had downloaded it. It's a little short video somebody made, and it was like, I don't watch boxing, and it showed. God, I wish I had downloaded it. And he hit Tyson in the wrong way, and Tyson was like, "Look, I'm giving you a chance to give up right now. Come, stop hitting me. I'm giving you a chance." And Jake Paul kept hitting him, and then the dude was like, "Okay," and Mike Tyson turned into this big beast or something like that. It was a funny video. So this is going to be interesting. I think it starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time, which will be in about 30 minutes. But there's several fights, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure if their fight will be the first one or the last. I
I
have my
doubt that. If it's the first one, that'd be a bad play on their part. That's got to be the main event. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the main event, and people are gonna be excited for it, and I'm excited for it.
what
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
do.
I
Oh,
don't
go
think
ahead.
Mike Tyson's gonna throw the fight. I don't think.
You don't think he's gonna throw the fight?
Somebody named Monique Gates said, "I hope Mike Tyson don't throw the fight," and I don't think he will. Again, Mike Tyson's got too much to gain and too much to lose from this. If he
Right.
loses, if he loses, his legacy, he becomes tarnished by this one fight with Jake Paul. He's not gonna throw this fight, even if it is just a bout. Jake Paul has angered him too much. He made him a little too mad, a little too heated with the weigh-in. He's not gonna throw this fight.
Right. That's another rumor. They said that Mike Tyson, even though he was offered like 15 million, that there's a little side deal that said that he was going to get like 20 million more if he throws the fight. Mike Tyson is not hurting for money. I mean, he's got all kind of side projects. You know what I'm saying? So he has his
I mean,
reputation on
he's
the
in
line.
he's in movies. He's still famous. His likeness is getting so much money from commercials. He is not strapped for cash. He is not worried about money. I don't think 100%. The thing
Nope.
is, this is again like the movie Rocky Balboa. Mason Dixon, his team was pushing him to get into that ring, and he was like, "I'm not gonna do it. I just want to do some. I don't even want to do no boxing. Maybe some local stuff, maybe." And then the moment they pushed him a little too far, you anger the beast. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be like when Mike Tyson wanted to get into that gorilla cage, except Mike Tyson is the gorilla and Jake Paul's being let in.
Man, man. Um, that's the only thing I fear. Daryl said I read 11 p.m. Eastern time, so that's when the actual fight, the main event, is going to happen.
I
Oh
don't
my
know
god!
about. I don't know what the mid card matches are, so I don't know it exactly, but I'll have to check.
Yeah, I don't think nobody really cared. Well, I mean, of
I mean,
course,
I don't know. They're probably probably good boxes. I don't know.
I don't know either. Boxing has really lost its flair, and it's not just because of UFC and stuff like that. Boxers nowadays are just so timid, and they're not afraid to. They're afraid they're not going to win, so they're doing this little tap tap thing. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't sluggers like they were back in the days. They fought with heart. Nowadays, it's all about status and stuff like that. You know?
Oh yeah, they're gonna do super middleweight, welterweight, and then super lightweight. So they got three matchups before that, I think.
Okay.
And then the main event is the heavyweight,
Did you
which is
hear?
which is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. That's the one that's heavyweight. Don't need
Ah,
to clarify that, but that's the main event.
of course, of course. Did you also hear that Shaq bet $1 million for Tyson to win?
I mean, Shaq's got nothing to lose with that. I mean, he's making so much money, but I mean, I would believe it. I would believe it. I'd believe it 100% if Shaq was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch him." If you think about it, Shaq and Tyson have pretty similar, careers.
Mm-hmm.
Not like after they left their respective sports and became like public icons, for doing stuff like commercials and movies.
Mm-hmm.
When you become a famous athlete, you get a lot of opportunities to do some great stuff. Mike Tyson's. I mean, I don't even think anybody knows Shaq from basketball that much. Really, he's doing all those commercials. They know him as the
Mm-hmm.
shimmy guy
Right. And what's the other one? The icy hot.
and the
And
cold
he was in
cuts.
trouble recently because he was being real creepy, like a super fanboy to this female. Um, I don't keep up with a lot of these modern day celebrities or something like that, but I know he was being super creepy with her for some reason. You know about that?
hmm
What was the name
Uh,
of the female celebrity?
I would know. I didn't check, but I know I've heard about the story before. I would have. I don't pay attention to. I don't pay attention to Shaq really, but since you brought him up, I was like, that's pretty coincidental. But here's the thing. I have a feeling that even though he bet on Mike Tyson to win, if somebody like Shaq would not bet that kind of money lightly, even though it's not much to him, I feel like that'd be a lot of money just to throw around if he did under the table bet that.
Right, right. And I bet Jake Paul may pay off the referee and some of the officials to say that Mike Tyson did something illegal or something like that. Or I don't know. It
He'll
has
pull
to be
something. He'll try to pull something if he loses, and I wouldn't blame him. But at that point, I mean, even if they try to pull something like that, I doubt any fallback is gonna happen to Tyson. The fallback would be on Jake Paul because he lost to an old man. Even if he tries to pull something like, oh, he cheated. I mean, the fact is he's gonna be bruised up by the end of the match anyway, so it really matter.
right, right.
It might not. Even if he does try to say he cheated, he's gonna look like he was beat anyways.
It's gonna look like you ever seen the episode of Martin where he fought who was it that he fought in that episode?
I don't remember actually. The only fight I remember him in was when he fought that Michael Jackson impersonator.
Oh yeah, the Michael Jackson impersonator beat the hell out of him. Oh, did you hear about? I'm getting off the subject, but did you hear that the story about how Michael Jackson beat up Tupac?
Oh no, he didn't beat him up. He was getting ready to fight him though. I remember. But people forget Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson. God dang, so many Michaels we're talking about right now.
Right.
Michael Jackson was in a little skit with Muhammad Ali, and he was throwing punches at him, and then Mike Tyson no, Muhammad Ali wasn't expecting them. It was funny. Like he was
Yeah.
like, he was doing like throwing like, these quick little jabs, and then Muhammad Ali was trying to block them, and he was like, "Ooh." They were joking around, but like you could tell, MJ came from a family where he was getting kind of beaten too, so he knows a little something about fighting.
Oh yeah, he's from Gary, Indiana. That's a very very rough town to come from. And, he used to actually fight his daddy a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So Mike got them hands. So Tupac ain't no punk either. But
Yeah,
what
but
else?
I mean, I'm just saying, if that fight were to happen, another fictional fight, getting off topic, I feel like Michael Jackson would win just because who would expect him to bust out some moves like that?
Right.
It'd be like again the Mason Dixon comparison. He would be going in thinking he's just a bum, and then he pulls out a little bit of the
Especially give him like a spinning back fist or something like that, and
got the sequins gloves on.
I've seen that. You seen that little meme? God, we're getting off topic. Where it's like, if wrestling is fake, how do you explain this? And they had the Michael Jackson wrestler. You seen that one?
I think I made that one. I made that meme.
Did you?
It's Michael Jackson. Yeah. No, wait. No, that's a different one. I made a different one, but it was Freddie Mercury fighting Weird Al. It was a different one, but that kind of stuff is funny. They have impersonators wrestling and stuff. That's cool. We're getting off topic. Trying to get back on
I'm
topic.
telling you. um, Terrence says, "True collecting points." I guess he means as far as Jake Paul winning by points. Daryl says Michael Jackson studied martial arts with Bruce Lee. No kidding. I do. I believe you. I believe you. You know what I'm saying? So Bruce Lee
Was
taught a
Michael
lot of.
Michael Jackson was like a kid in the 70s, right? That was like Jackson 5 era Michael Jackson, right? In the
Yeah,
70s.
Bruce Lee died in '74. Was it '74 that he died? I know Daryl knows. Daryl, let
I,
me
I
know, when did
I
Bruce Lee
should
die?
know. I have a poster of him on a wall and everything, and I have his nunchucks. 73.
'73. I was almost right. I was one off.
Mhm.
I guess I'm not as big as Bruce Lee fan as I thought I was. You know.
If MJ did train with Bruce Lee, that'd be amazing. I mean, can you imagine MJ in the octagon?
That would be funny as hell.
And the best part is he wouldn't have to buy any songs for his walkout. Come on, you try to go up against him. He's like, you ain't bad.
Come on.
Try to go up against the man who moonwalked to the ring, man. Again, we're off topic, man.
I'm telling you, man, we having too much fun here, brother. Ooh, wee. Um, yeah. Let's see. We have no more comments so far. Let me see. I'm trying to. This fight is just it just irks me. It's something in my gut is saying something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's that Netflix feel to it, you know. The fact that Netflix is advertising it, it's Netflix. If it was any other kind of promotion, it would be believable that it's like a real bout. But since it's Netflix, you know, there's some people thinking it's going to be very, because of the fact that they have WWE coming to their platform next year, they think it's going to be like a, you know, a scripted matchup where it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is a predetermined fight. Mike Tyson's scheduled to lose, that kind of stuff. But I doubt that's going to happen. But hopefully it doesn't. You know, I just doubt it, and I, you know, pray it's not that.
did you say WWE is going to go through Netflix?
Oh yeah, in 2025, Netflix is taking WWE, Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's good stuff for me at least. All the pay-per-views are coming too, so that'll be cool.
Oh my God. Oh, so that's going to be interesting.
But I
So
guess that kind of stuff is getting people worried because if that kind of stuff is on Netflix, this matchup might be a little bit scripted too, predetermined outcome. But if they're worried that Mike Tyson's gonna win for them to have it be scripted in the first place, that's a little dumb. That proves that they're terrified of Mike Tyson. I doubt that they'd script him to lose if they didn't think that Jake Paul could have him win.
and I think that everybody is already expecting some shady stuff. So I don't think that they're going to blatantly do that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
People are already
Everyone,
suspicious. They're suspicious of it. If they do anything, you know, make Netflix look like a joke. And Mike Tyson's not. Mike Tyson's been in this too long for let them damage his reputation by having it be like a obvious fake. It might be a publicity stunt, but I think Mike Tyson. Why am I saying Michael? We were talking about Michael Jackson earlier. Mike Tyson has too much. He has too much of a reputation, too much respect for himself to let it be scripted.
right, right. I can even see if Michael. You got me doing it. God no. If Mike Tyson was even approached by the mob or something, and it was like, "Here's some money. You better take a fall." I don't care. Mike would not fall for that. You know what I'm saying? He would rather die than to, have his reputation tarnished like that. You know what I'm saying? His legacy tarnished.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing people forget. For boxers and all pro athletes, it's about legacy to them. It's about who are people going to think of when their time is done in the ring in the spotlight. What are they going
Yeah.
to think? Were they going to think that I'm the greatest? Are they going to think that I was good? Mike Tyson still be thinking of that. That's how to be on his mind. He's going to think that if he loses, people are always going to know him as the guy who lost to Jake Paul.
Yeah.
That's why Mike Tyson needs to, dig deep and beat him. Not too deep though. I don't think he needs to worry too much about Jake Paul. But I know for a fact he's mad at this kid and he's gonna try to beat him.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna take it personal. So, if anybody who is watching has any other thoughts on the Mike Tyson fight, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, let me know. I am going to move on to the other subject, we can get back on the Mike Tyson fight. Um, well, according to what Daryl said, it's not going to be until 11 o'clock when Mike Tyson fights Jake Paul. So we got plenty of time to finish out this podcast. So let's move on to the main topic, which we were going to discuss. And I forgot who brought this up. I think it was like three different people on my Facebook page were talking about this at one time. But we were going to talk about video games that turn into live action movies. We may do some comic books, but my God, it's so many comic books and change it to movies and TV shows and stuff like that. I'm for the first time in my life, I think I'm getting sick of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. So it used to be a treat when you used to see a superhero movie and you used to have your fan fiction ideas. Now they're coming out literally like every month. There's a new superhero film coming out. So anyway, let's talk about the video games that changed into live action movies. So first one we're going to talk about is this one.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. I don't know why it's showing up in the background, guys.
Well, it actually looks way better. Actually, if it was smaller, it would be really cool. But you got Jean-Claude Van Damme's mouth up there.
Right. Another little tidbit that was actually kind of funny is that they said that Jean-Claude Van Damme spent like $1,500 a day on cocaine. Might have been $15,000, but he was coked out of his mind when he did this movie.
Well, I mean, again, as I said, everybody was on that booger sugar back in the day.
He sure was. Oh my God. What do you think about it? And for those who haven't seen it, this may be a spoiler alert, but it's not as serious as people think. You see the Street Fighter video game, and it's kind of serious and very brutal and stuff like that. But then you watch the movie, and it's more of a parody. I want to say
the problem with this is video games are seen as very childish back in the day. Everybody was like, video games are for kids. This is not going to be taken seriously. That's why the Mario movie turned out weird, and that's why Mortal Kombat is the only one that kind of did anything really good with it, the concept back in the day. The reason it was a parody is if you look at the anime and you look at the cartoon, I mean, all the stuff for Street Fighter was amazing. And then they made it into a movie, and because video games are seen as kiddie stuff, that's for children. They didn't really put any respect on the game. They didn't put any respect into the movie, even though it was pretty good. Raul Julia was really great. The guy who plays Gomez Adams, he was really good in that movie. I feel like it could have been taken really seriously. It could have been taken good because the lore and the story of the games is really good. And if they do a new adaptation, which apparently they are, and I'm very excited for, it should be really good.
You mentioned Ralph Julia. I want to give a shout out to him. That brother did this movie while he had, what was it, stomach cancer, liver cancer, some kind of cancer. He did a freaking amazing job. I mean, even like the point where he was like, of course, like that. It was just, oh my God. It was, my most iconic line that he said, and Chung-Li was like, my father beat up, your goons when they tried to take over our village. And he said, I don't remember any of it. He was like, for you, the day that I invaded your village was the worst day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. I was
That's
like,
a great line. I'm a little bit mad about that movie, though, about his performance, because people were reviewing it, like, back in the day. They're like, yeah, I mean, Raul Julia, he gave a, piss poor performance. It was the worst performance of the movie. Like, it was his worst performance. And they're like, he was performing while suffering from cancer. I mean, of course he's going to be a little bit stunted. I mean, it's not, I mean, you should really give him the benefit of the doubt. He did something a lot of people wouldn't be able to do at the time.
Right. And it was the characterization of how he portrayed M. Bison.
Well, M. Bison's supposed to be a big dictator type, so I mean, he embodied that really greatly. Again, he's probably the best part about that movie.
Right. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, I believe that Daryl wanted me to mention Mortal Kombat, and we will. We're definitely gonna get to Mortal Kombat. But the character of Johnny Cage was actually, I think, was it John Tobias and Edward Goon, or the creators of Mortal Kombat video game.
Hmm.
They created Johnny Cage after Jean Claude Van Damme. You know what I'm saying?
Which is
So,
crazy because he's not even in that movie.
right, he was in Street Fighter, which was their competition. So, it he did an okay job. I didn't like it that they didn't make Ken and Ryu the main characters. They made Guile the main character, and I
Well, that's because
understand
Jean
why,
Claude Van Damme, man. The moment
of
he
course.
stepped in, they were like, we got to make it this around him. But
Right.
again, if you want a good story, I think they made a couple of different live action movies later on, which are a little weird, but they're pretty. They're decent. Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't
Street
seen them.
Fighter
Like they made some other live action Street Fighter stuff. I don't
was it?
remember.
I just remember that Chung Lee one. You might be right. Just refresh my memory.
I don't think so. Actually, no, it might have been different than what I'm thinking of. I remember seeing a live action Ken and Ryu before, uh, but it looked pretty good from what I remember.
Oh, are you talking about the one that I saw it on YouTube too? And they did an excellent job.
Oh, the
Um,
Assassin's Fist. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
yes, yes. My God, if y'all have
Now,
not seen the
I think that's
Assassin,
fan made though, but the fact that I thought it was like a legit movie shows how well that was made.
it was excellent, 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 excellent. Even how they did Ken and Ryu's master and Akuma, and it was just wonderfully done. And how they did the hurricane kick and all that. Um,
I
Everybody says it different. Let me ask you a question. How do you pronounce the dragon punch and the hurricane kick, like in Japanese that they do?
I will. I know one's called the Hadouken.
The Hadouken.
The Hadouken.
What do you call the one? The rising uppercut.
That's the Hadouken. And I
No,
think the fact that I think there's a couple of stuff that says that kind of stuff, but when he does the arm thing, and then he goes Hwah! The Kamehameha style move he does. I think
hmm
that's also called like the Hadouken too. They got some similar sounding names for some of these moves, but they're really good. But yeah,
I,
this is a good movie. It's just a little bit. It could have been way better if they took the source material seriously.
right. And you mentioned the Hadouken and the special moves in that movie. You barely see like Ryu doing like he just does like this, and there's a flash, and you're supposed to believe that's like the Hadouken or something.
Oh, that's the same. They did. That's the problem. They did that kind of stuff in that Dragon Ball live action movie. They did. You know, they like this big move that everybody loves was like a gust of wind.
Right. Oh my God. Now we're gonna talk about that too. I know we're talking about video games and the live action, but I want to add that Dragon Ball movie in there somewhere if we got time. So, overall, I find it funny. The movie was very entertaining. It had some very funny parts, especially like when Chung Lee had made the truck go down the hill, and Zangief was looking at it on the monitor. He was like, "Quickly change the channel," you know. That was
I,
so funny.
I don't know if you know this, but the movie has the same like costumes from an '80s movie called Surf Ninja. It's for surf ninjas,
I
and they have the
remember that.
same. The military costumes are the same costumes from that movie. So like, if you think about it, Street Fighter, this movie could take place in the same world as Surf Ninjas.
That'd be an awesome crossover.
Like, well, Surf Ninjas should have crossed over with Ninja Turtles back in the day. I'm just saying, you got Kino in that. It was a pretty cool character.
Yep, Ernie Reyes Jr.
Getting a little off topic again.
That's what we do here on the KillaKrane Speaks On. We what do you call that? Segue a lot, you know. But let's get to the next one. My boy Daryl wanted to talk about this, so this is what we're gonna talk about. Mortal Kombat. To me, hey, try to listen to that soundtrack and not get up and try to hit something or kick in the air or punch in the air.
It is a good song. That's a song that gets you pumped, man.
Man, doom, 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 doom. I was like, oh shoot. If I ever need to be resuscitated, you don't even have to give me chest compression. Just put that song on. You know what I'm saying? Put the speakers next to me. Oh my god. And
This franchise, this game is probably the best one. I mean, like from the '90s, the best one. Because I mean, it's the one that took the source material seriously. It was goofy, yeah, campy, '90s camp, but I mean, it took the source material seriously for what it was giving it.
right, right. Um, excellent casting. I think it was pretty good
I think
casting.
Johnny Cage could have been done a little better. Get my boy Brandon Lee in that, which they wanted originally. That would have been amazing. Brandon Lee as Johnny Cage, man, he's got that cockiness. I've seen some of Brandon Lee's other work. He would have had that cockiness down, man.
Right, right. But I mean, it still did okay. They did CG the hell out of Reptile, but they were just experimenting around with, um, CG or whatever. So I'll excuse it this time. But what's his name that played Shang Tsung? He did a lot of martial art movies back in the day.
I think Shang Tsung's actor still plays that guy.
Does
like
he?
it, hold on, let me see. Yeah, he still plays him. If you look at the new games, they still have his face as the character. I
Oh
can't pronounce his
wow.
name. But he's in a lot of stuff. He's in the Tekken movie. He's in Mortal Kombat Little Showdown in Tokyo, which is a Brandon Lee movie.
We're gonna
He's in
talk
a.
about that too. That Tekken movie. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But yeah, he is a phenomenal actor, and
I respect him a lot. He's in for his age to still be doing this kind of stuff is amazing.
mm-hmm,
And since he played the guy so well, they have him as the face of the Shang Tsung ever since.
right. Um, as far as like special moves and stuff like that movie did, it did a pretty good job. I would give it on a scale of 1 to 10. I give it about a 7. I mean, the fatalities, some of them
Like
were there.
'90s level, yeah, 7. For the '90s, that's a great movie. Like the great looking movie. Goro, oh, he was amazing in that movie.
Man, what you say? And they said that they constantly. Let me tell you something about behind the scenes on that movie. Goro, the puppet that they were using, kept breaking down. It was really hot. They kept getting bit by mosquitoes. I mean, it was really tough on that movie and the set, but they pulled through it and they did an excellent job. If you
And
ask
he
me,
looked amazing in that movie.
man,
Hey,
what you say?
very dangerous looking being right there. That's that Jim Henson kind of stuff. The '80s and '90s had the best looking, creatures. You got that Tokan Razar from Ninja Turtles, man. Dangerous.
Ooh,
Even Big
wee.
Trouble in Little China, they had that little wolf guy in that. Everything looked dangerous back in the day because it looked real. Everything like you could look down the street and you'll see one of those guys.
Uh huh. And I'm segueing again, but God, I wish I could do. If you guys want me to do a podcast just talking about those first three Ninja Turtle movies, and you talking about Token Razar and the Jim Henson Creature Shop, and I could talk all day about those Ninja Turtle movies. You know what I'm saying? Because to see that in live action, as a matter of fact, that was one of the first times that I saw one of my TV shows that I actually loved, like a cartoon, come to life. I almost lost my shit when I saw that. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back to Mortal Kombat. Just a phenomenal movie. One of the best ones. Which one did you like? Did you like this Mortal Kombat movie better, or the one they just recently came out with?
Well, the one that most recently came out with, I did enjoy it, but I just feel like it doesn't because it wasn't made back then. You know what I mean? The one made back then, they had the original writers help a little bit. They had everything going for it back then. So I feel like it's a little more, loyal to the source material because like
Mm-hmm.
only a few games had been out at that time. So it didn't have too much to draw from. But when this new movie came out, they had so much material to draw from that it's kind of its own separate universe. And it feels like something new, a new different adaptation, which I respect. But it's not a direct adaptation. You know what I mean? Not a
Right,
complete direct adaptation, and it looks good though. It looks really good. I did enjoy the '90s one a bit more,
right.
and I can't respect it because it didn't get the Miz to play Johnny Cage in the new movie. I don't know if you know who the Miz is, but that's my favorite wrestler. He looks exactly like Johnny Cage.
Huh. I haven't. I actually don't know who the Miz is, to be honest. But that brings up another point. We could do a podcast about this too. No secret, and a lot of people have fussed at me about this. I never did like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine because, and like you said, there was a wrestler who I thought was a perfect portrayal of Wolverine, and he called himself the Wolverine. And you know which wrestler I'm talking about, right?
Yep, Chris
Yep,
Benoit.
Chris Benoit. Oh my God, I love that dude. Sad how he passed away and everything. But with that type
Oh
of
yeah,
role.
he 100% did look like the Wolverine though. I mean, you know, he had that
Mhm.
vibe. He just wasn't short enough either. The
Right.
problem is, I mean, if you want an accurate height Wolverine, you got to get Rey Mysterio, but he doesn't exactly look like Wolverine.
No, you have to have on some heavy prosthetics or something like that. But uh yeah, but let's get back to it. We could talk about comic book movies later, early ones. Um Mortal Kombat. Is there anything else before we go
Well, they
on?
also had that sequel. You check out the sequel for that movie when it came out.
The Mortal Kombat sequel?
Yeah, Annihilation. I
Yeah. Oh my
I didn't
God.
like I didn't like that one really, but I did enjoy the part. Even though the CGI was bad, I always thought when he turned into a dragon was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, and they added like animalities and stuff. And who was it? Excuse me. The two they mentioned was like Striker and Sector or somebody who they just mentioned and said that they captured them because they were trying to fit too many people in on one movie. You know what I'm saying? And
I think
Jackson's
they included them in the show when they made it. I think they made a Mortal Kombat show that was
they
pretty
did.
interesting. I didn't see it, but I think they actually did kind of incorporate those characters in it.
Yeah. You talking about the cartoon or live action?
They made a live action show, I think. I don't know what it's called, but
I believe
uh,
it had the. I don't know if you watched Star Trek Voyager, and it had the character Seven of Nine, the Borg who joined the Federation.
I don't watch Star Trek. Mortal Kombat Conquest is what it's called. It's from the '90s to show. It
Okay,
was live action. It was pretty. It looked pretty good. It was kind of like the movie.
yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty. It gives off the same vibe as the movies did, and they did incorporate some characters in it that you did not see in the movie.
right. And well, what I was saying, like the Seven of Nine character, for anybody who knows Star Trek, she's the one who plays Sonya Blade, and she did an excellent job in that show. Um, there was a cartoon. It only lasted one season. Um, it did okay. I liked it. You know what I'm saying? But there were a number of problems with it. Trying to, because it was a cartoon for kids in Mortal Kombat. How could you boil it down and make Mortal Kombat something to where kids can enjoy? So there was just it only lasted one season, but it was enjoyable for me to watch. Um,
The problem with the Mortal Kombat live action movies is the guy who played Liu Kang. I didn't like him too much. I felt like
you
they could have
didn't?
gotten a better live action Liu Kang. Well, because there already was one. You got that guy Jason Scott Lee, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He played Bruce Lee, and I feel like he played a good Liu Kang. Because the guy that plays Liu Kang, all I can see is Beverly Hills Ninja. It doesn't help. That's what I know him from. I saw that first, and when I see him, it's like, wait a minute, that's Mowgli right there.
Oh man, I forgot about that movie. Oh, Chris Farley, the late great Chris Farley. Now he's in a bus down by the river. Oh God. So let's move on from Mortal Kombat. We can always come back to these guys. Remember, if you want to join in on this discussion and add stuff to it, leave a comment or you can join live. If you see in the description, you should see the link to join. You could do like David here and just talk. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to leave your face or anything like that. Or, what I'm saying, you could just leave text like these other people are doing in the comment section, which I really appreciate. Excuse me. Let's move on to the next movie. What movie is that, David?
I can't see it, but I think it's Mario.
Mario, the Super Mario movie.
which is
It had
one of those movies that should have taken. They didn't have too much to look at, really, the story wise, to take from. So they had to go a little creative and a little weird with it.
right. And the thing about it is they saw the Batman movie. It was dark, even though it was supposed to be campy back in the Adam West days, and they went dark. And then you had the Ninja Turtles, which was lighthearted with the cartoon, and it went dark and it did good. So that was like, we're gonna go dark with Mario, and in my opinion, it sucked. You
It was
know,
not. It was not the right choice.
no, no. Um,
The best Mario movie is the one called The Wizard, which is a movie about a little kid who plays video games, and at the end of the movie, plays Mario 3, and it's like the best interpretation of somebody who likes Mario.
bruh. As a matter of fact, hold on. You're talking about this DVD right here.
That's a good movie right there.
Right. Let me see if I can show it. It's being cropped out. There you go.
The
I-
Wizard, Fred Savage.
right. You got 10,000 in Double Dragon? I often thought I can add this in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you brought that up. I thought it was a little weird when the
Big
dude named
advertisement.
huh?
It's a big advertisement, is what it is.
A big long commercial, about going to California, I often saw it as weird, that part when that dude Lucas, he was like, I love the Power Glove. It's so bad. I was like, what else are you doing with that Power Glove?
That's just the commercial, man. That they were gonna use that, and they were like, "Yeah, you want the Power Glove? Look how good it is."
And that thing was a piece of shit. God, that thing was shit. Nobody could get it to align right. It wouldn't stay on the TV. You had to have this sensor. You had to put a book on top of there, and then even if you did, it mess it up, and it was just crap. I'm glad I think I had got mine from like the thrift store or something, because that's how terrible it was at the time. Nobody wanted this
even
thing.
when you first got it, it's crap. So, I mean, at the thrift store, it didn't really add too much to it, did it?
Right.
We're discussing the wrong movie right now.
Right. Oh my God. Let's back on track, brother.
You put the poster up for 1 second, and I was like, you know what? The Wizard's pretty good.
This is a better Mario movie.
I will say that here's a fun fact about the behind the scenes of this film. When they the Bowser's lair, or whatever, where they show the Mushroom Kingdom in the other dimension, uh, the place that they filmed it in was the same place they filmed the Crow in and the Foot Clan base in as well. When you see the Foot
Oh
Clan in the first
yeah, I
movie,
heard about that.
when you see the Foot Clan in the first movie, and you see like Shredder come out, he's like dun dun dun, and then he will take off his gloves and stuff. That's the same building that from the Crow, where what's his name, Top Dollar is, and that's the same building that they used as the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh yeah, I think they also used it for Blade Runner, didn't they?
I think so. I haven't checked, but they used that thing in a lot of movies because it was a big, wide area. They could edit it, make it look good.
Right. Come a little bit closer to the mic. It seems like your volume is going down.
Oh, that's because I was looking away from the mic for a second there. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I heard some stuff behind the scenes on this movie. How I think it was John Leguizamo had ran over. What's the guy who played Mario, the English guy?
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. He ran over his foot, and something happened, and they was always drunk or something. You hear anything about that?
I haven't. All I know is about that set, but I think that John Leguizamo was a little weird back in the day. He's better now. He was clean now. He's a damn fine actor now. I love him in what's that movie? John Wick. He gives off that good performance. He became kind of a good performer when he stopped doing straight up comedy, because he was 100%. He was gonna go the route of Pauly Shore back in the day if he hadn't changed up his acting, his character.
You don't want that. Ugh.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say
I
too
couldn't
much bad
stand
on
Pauly.
Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore actually can act, but I mean, only when he's playing a character that's a little weirder. Richard Simmons, he actually played him pretty decently in his little short film he made.
Yeah, yeah. John Leguizamo, he tried to emulate like a Living Color, and it was like for a few episodes, it was like a Hispanic version of In Living Color, and they had some skits, and it really didn't work. It sounded like it could have worked, like they had the Crips and Bloods versus, in that movie. What's the name of it? The sound. It's like Romeo and Juliet, except it's like modern day, and they're doing this number. What is the name of
What
that?
is that like that the Leonardo DiCaprio movie? I don't know.
I, no, it might have been, but it's like a version of Romeo and Juliet, and it had like the Latinos and against like the white people or the Italians or something like that. And God, what is the name of that movie? It's super famous. But anyway, he was I'm getting off track here. Let me get back on track. But the Mario movie, if I had to give it a thing from 1 to 10, I mean 3 maybe at the most or something. There were some parts that could have worked, but they didn't. They didn't have any. Oh, looks like we've lost David. Um, Daryl says Super Mario had a hidden level -1, never beat it. There was a lot of stuff in that game that I'm still just finding out about. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I accidentally exited out while looking it up.
That's fine. You came back here. Um, like I said, Daryl said Super Mario Brothers had a hidden level -1. I never beat it. Did you ever find that in the what's the name in the game, like the
I,
-1
I
level?
I haven't played it really.
And I always try to jump over that flagpole in the Mario game, and a lot of people have done it. And to be honest, I just now seen it because of YouTube, and so YouTube has given us a lot of access on things that we heard about growing up and stuff like that. And so and there's so many emulations of these games out now. So mm, but appreciate that, Daryl. Back to the Mario movie. We're talking about John Leguizamo, Bob Hoskins. He did a great job in Who Framed Roger Rabbit too.
Yeah, he's a good
Um,
actor. You can't deny that.
right, right.
Here's
Um,
the thing about this movie. I think it has another one of those movies with the creepy special effects, where they made the characters look real. Those little the Goombas, they look
mhm.
terrifying in this.
They sure did look very much weird, and it was a little. I don't know if you could consider it racist or something. They had Big Bertha, the black woman. It was supposed to have been a big fish.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I mean probably if it's that kind of name. I mean the only kind of giant fish I remember is "Let's make music together" from from All Dogs Go to Heaven, man.
Oh, wow. Now there's a discussion forum we can have, old Disney movies and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stuff because of YouTube. You learn a lot about those old Disney movies and their creation. And I'm sure everybody heard the rumors. God dog it, I'm segueing again. About the cover art for the Little Mermaid, the
Mm,
phallic. You heard about
yeah.
that.
Again, we gotta get a little segue here again, man. We gotta find a. What's the next movie you got on the list, man?
Yeah, let's move to the next one. Ooh, what movie is
uh,
that?
that's the Sonic movie came out recently. That's the modern day equivalent, probably the best example of a modern day live action adaptation of a good movie. Uh,
Right.
con- Compared to the ones of past, even the Mortal Kombat one, this is a movie that the fans love, the people who play Sonic love. This is a good movie. I can't deny it. This is the kind of one that people want to see. This is an accurate Sonic. Eggman's good. Jim Carrey was gonna retire, and then they were like, "Hey, would you like to hop on and play Eggman real quick?" And they were like, "Okay."
Right. I don't know why they complained. Well, I can understand why they complained about the original, I guess, depiction of Sonic that they had, and they changed it up and they made it look a little bit better. But they was talking about Eggman should have been overweight, bald, all that stuff like that. But I think Jim Carrey did an excellent job. You know what I'm saying? He was very energetic. He did just an awesome job. Sonic was done great. You know what I'm saying?
Did you
And
hear
so,
the? This is another one of those little theories that they made it look bad on purpose just for the trailer, and then to get buzz for when they fixed it. Like they
oh,
only ever made it for that trailer to look that weird.
huh. Interesting. I can see that happening. They be doing stuff like that. What they say, no publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People that they use the hate of the internet to their advantage. They get everybody talking about it, and then they're like, "Oh, here's the fix. Check it out." And then everybody's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, that looks really good. I'll give it a watch."
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. Now, I think that they had the Chaos Emeralds in the second Sonic movie, the one where they had what's his
Knuckles,
huh
Knuckles, I think is in that one. Tails.
Knuckles, and now they're gonna have Shadow, which is played by Keanu Reeves. Me and Philip was just talking about that the other day. And so I haven't been that deep into Sonic, especially the Sonic lore, and it got a little weird because people started making, when the internet started getting really popular, they started making some weird pictures of Sonic doing a bunch of weird stuff. And what's the deal about that Ugandan Knuckles? You heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Vinara has heard of that too. Very fun stuff. It's just is a very racist little meme, but somebody made a little goofy looking Knuckles photo, and then people started like making like doing an accent, and they started like making fun, and like this is Ugandan Knuckles, and they gave him a thick accent. They just like, oh yeah, it's Knuckles, check it out. And it was a big meme. It was very. It's like really weird. This very racist meme became a very modern day, perfect meme for everybody to love. Even Roxy was referencing it, or Benaris, my bad. I keep calling her a username, but no, her name is Benaris, and that's the joke she used to make a lot. Everybody was referencing it.
Oh yeah, you do not know the way.
Yeah, that stuff right there. That thick accent, very racist meme that became very popular.
So that's not a real Sonic character or
Oh
anything.
no, it's not a real Sonic character.
Okay, okay. Because, Sonic came out during my time, but it seems like y'all know more about these things. Even like the Legend of Zelda, speaking of Nairi, she loves the Legend of Zelda and she knows more about the lore than I do. You know what I'm saying?
That's because of that duder Jordan. He got her on those games. She
Oh
didn't know
yeah,
a
they
thing
love
about she didn't know a thing about Link, nothing about Nova Zelda, and then he was like, "Yeah, check this out."
it. Yeah, she's like, Dad, you have to play the Ocarina of Time. And I was like, wow, I forgot that I didn't play that game. You know what I'm saying? So I love the hell out of the first Legend of Zelda. I want to talk about that too, even though we're segueing. So let me ask you this question. If they made a modern day Legend of Zelda movie, live action, who would you get to play Link?
Whew, that's a good question, man. It depends. Like, do we want like young Link? Like, do you want older Link? Like, what kind of Link are we talking here? Is this like he's like just starting? He's gonna be a warrior. Or are we talking about like, yeah, this is an older Link. He's gonna be this badass knight guy. He's been through this. He's grizzled from combat. If you're talking about young Link, I would like somebody like who's that guy who played Jon Snow? I forgot his name. But no wait, never mind. He looks a little different now. That's the guy I wanted to play older Link. For like a younger, like just starting out Link, it's got to be like not Tom Holland. That's everybody's choice. I don't like that guy
Yeah.
that much. Uh,
you know,
it, it have to be like a blonde dude that I keep forgetting the name of. I'm blanking on it, but he was in something I watched recently. Let me look it up. I was watching. It's in my watch history.
what about one of those dudes from Cobra Kai? You think they can work?
Well, here's the thing. I think if anybody from Cobra Kai can do it, it's not going to be Jacob Bertrand or anybody. It's going to be 100% Robbie.
Okay.
He's got the look. He's got the blonde, long hair. He could. I feel like he could play it, but he wouldn't do it. That's the sad part. He's too serious now. Back in the day, he 100% would have. That's too goofy a role for him. Like again, if they take it seriously and they want it to be like a dramatic movie, yeah, you got that guy who played Jon Snow in that thing. He'd be really good. I don't watch Game of Thrones that much, but I know that dude. He got that. He got the right vibe for it. Kit
That's one.
Harrington.
Right, right. That's one thing that I fear. If they make a Legend of Zelda movie, it'd be too woke and it just take away from. When I watch movies, I need to be able to cut my brain out just a little bit. You can have a little bit of depth to it, but that's another reason why I'm kind of veering away from all these Marvel movies because you have to watch too many iterations of too many of the other things, and it just gets too technical. You know what I'm
It gets
saying? I don't.
like the message weighs down the movie a little bit. You want to enjoy a story, have a good time, but the message outweighs the story and the impact of the plot. And I get that. I think that a couple of products they do lend well to that, but stuff like where it's supposed to be fun, like Marvel movies and stuff like that, it does not. I feel like that's a little unnecessary. A message for Marvel movies, there's a time and place for them. If you're
Right.
watching a movie like Malcolm X or Freedom Riders and stuff like that, that kind of like messages they make sense because those are movies about that kind of message. But you know, when they add it into when they add it to a movie that has nothing to do with that kind of message, it does feel like it's a little forced and people aren't really into it.
Correct. Correct. Um, I know
I
we're
got a question
segueing.
for you now. Who would you get to play a live action Zelda now?
Oh, I have thought about so many people. Of course, everybody's first choice would probably be the girl, like you mentioned from House of Dragons, not House of Dragons,
Game of Thrones, Amelia
Game of
Clark.
Thrones. Yeah.
I think she'd be
Um.
good, but I don't think she's in a fantasy anymore.
Oh, you don't think so?
I think she's like trying to do some serious stuff, like some more modern day stuff. She's played one of the most famous, queens and princesses in like history right now, with like Daenerys. But I think
Mhm.
she's moving on from fantasy. Kit Harrington would 100% play Link, but I think Amelia Clark best choice for like a like an older Princess Zelda, who I think could be a good modern Zelda is this is a girl that I think Vinaris would know about, Dove Cameron. She's like a singer actress. If Vinaris is here, she'd tell you who she is. And or another actress is what's her name? I'm blanking on it. I keep blanking because I'm thinking Anya Taylor Joy. She played Princess Peach in the animated Mario movie. She voice
Okay.
acted them, and she's a really good actress. I think she'd play Zelda pretty well. She'd have the regal sense to it.
You know who I was just thinking that popped in my head? I know she might, well, she's actually not too much older, but I often picture, she's kind of like the female empowerment type thing, like the Zelda, not the
Mm-hmm.
princess and what do you call that? The woman in distress or whatever, always getting captured,
Damsel in distress.
damsel in distress. We don't like those kind. Most of the time, people like the female, even if she gets captured, she's kind of tough. But
I don't like that kind of story because there's this movie I watched recently. Segue real quick. A kid in King Arthur's court, where this girl is like ever seen the Black Knight with Martin Lawrence? It's just that movie basically, but like before it. Where this kid, like, there's this girl who's like like she's trained with knights and stuff, and then she gets kidnapped, like during the movie, and doesn't even put up a fight. That stuff bothers me because she's out here training to be a fighter and it's tough, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get kidnapped real quick, so fast."
right, like where's all that fighting spirit? You know what I'm saying? But the one I was thinking about, and I can't think of her name, but you remember that show, iCarly, and then it had another one where she was with Ariana Grande,
Yeah, Jeanette McCurdy.
Jeanette McCurdy. Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't do acting anymore, but she'd be perfect for it. I do agree with that.
Mm, yeah. Um, she wrote a book recently. Boy, we getting off topic. Let's get back to Sonic. Let's close out Sonic right quick. Any predictions or anything that you would change up? But you said it was a good movie, right?
I say it's a great movie. I like what they're doing with it. I feel like the only thing I'd ever change about it was I think that a couple of voices could have been worked and retooled. Like the current Sonic voice, I think he does a good job. I think they need a guy who's a little bit more charismatic, because Sonic is a charismatic little goofball individual. You know what I mean? He's got that. You know, he cracks jokes way more than than he does in that movie. Sonic's a good character, but the ones that they have played really great is Knuckles and Tails. They got them perfect. But I think they need to work on Sonic a bit more, get his characterization down.
Steve Urkel played Sonic, and it was two different versions. In the cartoon version. You remember those?
Which cartoons you talking about?
It was in the '90s. It was two Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday
Oh,
morning
was it
cartoons.
Sonic Underground?
Maybe I don't know the subtitle, but I know it was two different Sonic the Hedgehog. One of them looked like a kindergartner's just mess, and it only lasted one season. And he was eating chili dogs and all kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
that's Sonic Underground right there.
Okay, that's Sonic Underground. And then there was a second one where it was really good. I liked it. It was a little bit darker, and it kind of left on a cliffhanger. The series stopped, and Jaleel White, who played Steve Urkel, he did an excellent job of doing the voice of Sonic on both of them. You know what I'm saying? So I think he did a pretty good job. Now, last question. Have you heard any rumors about, since Nintendo now owns Sonic, about a like a multiverse, cinematic Nintendo cinematic universe, and them adding Sonic in and possibly doing a Smash Brothers type deal? What do you think about that?
I think that'd be great. Smash. Think about this for a moment here. People have been wanting to get what's his name, Sora, into from Kingdom Hearts into freaking Smash Brothers. They've never gotten Sonic into Smash Brothers. The two most popular characters are in Smash Bros right now. The only one that's not in it is Sonic. The other one is being Goku, but I don't think they're gonna put Goku in Smash Brothers for some reason. But people do want Sonic, and they do want this character. He's in the racing games 100%. They put him in Mario Kart one time. So
Yep.
they gotta, now that they own the rights to Sonic, they're 100% gonna try to push him as best they can. I think that's the best move because he's one of the most popular icons in gaming history.
Yep. Next to Mario, I've seen the one where Death Battle did Mario versus Sonic. Did you see that one?
Yeah, it wasn't really close.
No, it was mostly, spoiler alert, Sonic had that speed, so that's mostly his big thing. You know what I'm saying? So, let's move to the next movie. We're at 8:30 now. You mentioned this earlier.
The Tekken movie. I did. I mentioned it. I've never actually seen it. Actually, have you seen it?
Yes, I own it. It's a pretty good movie. I could gripe about little bitty things in there, but they did. To me, it was an excellent job. The only thing, the what's his name, Eddie Goro. He actually trained Christy. Both of them know capoeira, the Brazilian martial art.
Ah. Oh no, he's got connection
Damn
issues.
gorgeous and sexy in this movie that nobody really gives a damn. You know what I'm saying? So Eddie Goro is in this, and they did an excellent portrayal of Eddie Goro. They didn't do any character development. They just kind of threw him in there. Yoshimitsu is in there. The only one that has some depths to his character, of course, is Yoshimitsu. No, yeah, his son. And they did what's the Kazuya's son? What's his name?
I forgot, but he kind of has the same hair as him, right?
You're right. So it's about the
It's a character you can definitely tell is his son.
right, exactly. So it's all about their family line, and so hardly anybody else other than those are get any character development. And it's still pretty good. The fighting is excellent. They do an excellent portrayal of all the fighters and their skills and stuff like that. They even got Jax. No, they don't. Did they have Jax? No, they had Bruce, the character
Jax
Bruce.
From Mortal Kombat.
No, I was thinking of Jax. I think his name is Jax, the cyborg, 100% robot Then they had the cyborg, which is like I think his name is Bruce, and he's supposed to be like some super soldier, which was implemented with technology or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I see. I see. Is that the one that kind of looks like the Winter Soldier a little bit with the arm and stuff?
Kind of, sort of older version of the Winter Soldier. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't seen it, and the only game I've ever played of Tekken was Tekken versus Street Fighter, so I don't even know which ones are Tekken and which one's Street Fighter. But I did love that game though. Tekken versus Street Fighter is fun.
It is. It they did a well, it's two different types of games, and it's kind of hard to combine the two styles. You know what I'm saying? So Tekken is more realistic, even though they have some fantasy fighting moves and stuff. But Street Fighter is more like you could jump over your opponent and throw fireballs and stuff like that. You know?
Well, I respect it at least because they stuck to their guns with that game.
Yeah. But if you can try to play some other Tekken games, it's a great storyline behind what's in Tekken, and they often compare the three games, like which one has the better backstory: Mortal Kombat, Tekken, or Street Fighter. And it just depends, you know what I'm saying? Like Mortal Kombat is all over the fucking place now with all the games. Then they retcon stuff, and people go back in the. I hate when people go back in the past, you know. And then it changes the timeline and all kinds of crap, you know.
I get it.
Yeah, I guess. But you know, what is Mortal Kombat on, like 10 now?
It's on number one.
Oh, I'm not counting that, you know.
But there's Mortal Kombat 11. This is the 12th Mortal Kombat game, but
Wow.
there's like a couple of Mortal Kombat games out there. Some with subtitles that I don't even know about. But there's a lot of Mortal Kombat games.
The only part about the Mortal Kombat games I like, you know, it talks, because my major in college was religion and society, and minor in philosophy. So I love studying about the beliefs of the different religions and mythologies. And, Mortal Kombat has a mythology about gods and goddesses and the minor gods and the major gods and how they fight each other. So it's kind of right up my alley, that kind of stuff. So, but
I played more Injustice than I did Mortal Kombat, but I did like Mortal Kombat. I don't know if you've
hmm.
seen Injustice, the DC version of Mortal Kombat, made by the same people.
Is that the one where Superman is fooled to a Joker fooled him and he killed his Lois Lane and now he's like taking over the world or something?
Yeah, that was a pretty good game. The story in that game was amazing. Again, I don't know if you've played it, but that's a recommendation too, 100%. It's a good story. They messed it up with the animated film that came out recently. There's an animated movie based off of Injustice, but it's not good. It does not compare to playing the game or reading the comics. 100% recommend it.
Interesting. Because I've read some of the comics on the storyline, and of course I played it at Dave and Buster's. There's a video game that you can play.
With the
Um,
cards.
yeah, where you get the cards exactly. But
Yep.
it's pretty cool, you know. Um, but yeah, try to play Tekken if you can. This Tekken movie is really good. Like I said, if you're one of those people who like to critique movies and stuff like that, they only had. It seems like a low budget movie to me, so they did an excellent job for what they could do. It reminds me of that Street Fighter movie, the Assassin's Fist you were talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of on the same way. What about this one?
Laura Croft, you can barely see her, but
Right.
there's a couple of Tomb Raider movies out right now. There's like a one that came out recently that wasn't that good, but the Angelina Jolie ones are really a little something. I don't know. They didn't really hire a British woman to play Laura
Yeah.
Croft, but I don't know. I think it's specifically they have to hire a British actress to play her,
Right.
which is
Right.
what they're doing recently. They actually did get somebody from Game of Thrones to play her, I think.
Huh. Now I haven't seen the newer ones. The only one I've seen is the Laura Croft ones. I think there was two of them that I watched, and she did a pretty good job. It was like one of those iconic '90s movies. It kind of reminded me. I don't know why it reminded me of The Mummy. With Brandon Fraser.
Yep.
So it was pretty good. I'd have no problems with it. I wasn't really into the whole lore. The Tomb Raiders I played was Tomb Raider 2 and 3. And
I was more of an Uncharted fan, and they messed up that game movie a lot.
I never played the game. I haven't seen the movie, but I heard it's good.
The games are amazing. The story in the games are amazing. The movie that they made for it is just not good.
Huh.
But it's because they got like the worst actors to portray these amazing characters, and they also mucked up the story, which they try to tell a four-game story in like one movie, and they left out some of the best parts of the fourth game. Like a lot of the, they're like, this is the backstory of Nathan Drake, and it did not compare to the film.
Huh. So let me ask you this. I hate to mention Death Battle again, but they had a battle between Laura Croft and the guy from Uncharted. And I forgot who won. Did you see it and do you agree with that fight?
I have not seen it, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna predict it right now that Laura Croft wins. Oh wait,
Like,
no, yeah, no, that Nathan Drake wins in that because Laura Croft doesn't really use guns that much. I think not really particularly exempt in guns in the game franchise. Meanwhile, Nathan Drake in his games, he pulls out like so many guns. He picks up guns that his weapon has, and he's like very accurate with them, despite just being a thief.
hmm, interesting. So I have to get on that. You know what I'm saying? Another one just made me think about. You just made me think about Prince of Persia. Did you play the video games? Did you see the movie?
I tried to watch the movie actually like a couple days ago before this podcast, but it was very boring. The movie is boring. I love the Assassin's Creed games, which is what the Prince of Persia like kicked off.
Uh
But
huh.
I've never played it. I've played the Assassin's Creed games though. I do love the fact that Prince of Persia inspired Assassin's Creed though, so I do respect it for that because Assassin's Creed is a great franchise.
Okay. So why I got this on my mind. Um, if they were to do a, let me get this off here. If they were to do a live action Red Dead Redemption, who would you get to play? And I forgot the guy's name. And I got the game. I got two of
John
them.
Marston,
John Marston, right?
the guy who plays him in voice acting. He
You
looks
think?
exactly and he looks and sounds exactly like him in real life, and he can do actual live action acting. But if they don't want him, the guy who plays Rick Grimes would be pretty good, and
Rick Grimes?
the guy from Walking Dead, the sheriff guy,
Oh, right.
that guy would be really good. And if they didn't get the guy who played him in the game, and what's his name? There's this guy from recently that I forget the name of. Norman Reedus. I think he's an actor. I don't know if I'm just naming a character, but the guy who plays
Maybe.
him is an actor who looks a lot like John Marston. Uh,
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
yeah, Norman Reedus. He looks a lot like him, and he played Daryl Dixon from Walking Dead. So two people, Daryl from Walking Dead and Rick Grimes from Walking Dead, would play a great John Marston.
Ah, interesting. I never thought about those. Huh. Now, there is one game, I'm trying to bring it out here, but it'll take me too long to get up and get it. There's one video game, which, oh my God, I don't care if it's animated, I don't care if it's live action. I want a movie made about this video game. Would you like to play 10 guesses to what game I'm talking about?
All right, all right.
Or
Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
okay, let's play 10 questions. It's actually 20 questions, but let's do 10.
All right. Does the game involve superpowers of any kind?
Kind of, sort of, yes, but not like superhero. It's not a superhero game.
All right. Is there what gender is the main character?
Male.
Uh, what kind of powers are we looking at here in this kind of game?
Well, it's supposed to be yes or no questions, but I'll answer it anyway. Um, Fantasy, I would say.
That's the genre you say?
I would say yes. If I tell you anything more, then it'll
Is
give
it
it away 100%.
Skyrim? Is
It's
it
not
Elder
Skyrim.
Scrolls? Oh
Thank
no,
you for reminding me. I need to play Skyrim. Keep
they
reminding
got
me.
that kind of stuff would be a good movie though.
I heard
So
it's
it's
great, but keep going.
whew, if it's not Skyrim, then I don't know what game you're talking about. But let's see. Does your character use a sword?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, dang. Did they give your character two? Does your character have a first and last name? I'm not asking what they are. Do they have, like, is there? They have a first and last name that you can name but not name. Just tell me yes if they do.
No.
All right, so it's an unnamed protagonist, which just
It does have a first name.
all
So that's
right.
5 questions. You got 5 more.
Uh,
You're getting
is
there.
all right. Is the villain a is the villain an arm? Is the villain like a dark entity of some sort? Like a like a monstrous style character? Like it's
Yeah, the very end one, yes. So, um, yeah, I would say the very end one. There are so many, of course, a video game is complex, many enemies, but the very last one, the main one, is yes, it's very monstrous.
uh dang. I wouldn't know then. Is it God of War?
Nope, it's not God of War. Damn, that's a good one though. That's a great guess. I think you
The
missing the most
is
important basic questions you need to ask.
is all right. Is the character bald?
Definitely not.
So he has hair. He carries a sword around, and he's is it? I'm missing a question here, aren't I? Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get more broad with the questions. You're getting very specific, so
All right.
start very broad.
Is the game from the 2000s?
Is the no?
All right.
It's
So
earlier than 2000. So you got 2 more guesses.
it's from the 90s, and it's a game. Oh, it's not Zelda, is it? Can't be Zelda, right? Because we
Nope.
just talked about that.
Hold on 1 minute. Let me answer this. Hello.
Hey, this is Sonara.
Hey.
Can you come pick me up now?
Yeah, I'm on the podcast. I'm gonna be done in about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay. All right. Love you, Nari. Bye bye.
Oh, is it
Okay.
Final Fantasy?
Ooh, you close. Ooh, you close. You got 2 more guesses.
Uh, Castlevania. Oh,
Ooh, no, no, you were getting closer with um Final Fantasy. So you
I
got
guess
one
is
more
the
guess.
final guess. Is it Chrono Trigger?
Thank you. There you go. There
The
you
last
go.
one. The last one.
Man, you were down to the wow on that one, brother.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, what's like a character with one name? I was like Cloud, but it was close.
So you mentioned a bunch of good games, and that was kind of fun to have you guessing like that. But man, you mentioned so many: God of War, Skyrim, Final Fantasy, and Chrono Trigger. So Chrono Trigger, it to me is one of the best RPGs out there that's ever been made.
I've
Um,
never played it, but I like the art style. Reminds me of Dragon Ball Z.
yes, yes. Excuse me. Play that. Have you played Earthbound too? Earthbound as
I
well.
have tried to play Earthbound, but the only place I could play it was at school, and I don't go to school anymore. But that's because we had a game on Friday where you could play games, and they had a little emulator for NES, and I
Yeah,
would play Earthbound. It was pretty good. I liked it. It's just a lot of reading.
it's a ton of reading, and but that's the same thing with Chrono Trigger too. But the story is so good about time travel. It's action adventure. A guy starts off, I like the how you start off as some little punk, and you have to gather more friends, and you save people's lives. It's just so wonderful, and it's one of the greatest RPGs. And it's not as complicated as the like Final Fantasy series. Sometimes the Final Fantasy series get all off into left field. Oh, which is another movie. They made a Final Fantasy like The Fire Within or something like that. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. The only Final Fantasy game I've played recently was, I think, Final Fantasy VII and the remake, and Final Fantasy 15, which those are different games from the other Final Fantasy ones. The other ones are turn based. If you play Final Fantasy 15, it's kind of like more like a Dark Souls. You just strike and dodge. You don't really take turns in those ones.
Right. And the thing about Final Fantasy, I don't know, you can explain it to me, but none of those games kind of connect to each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
It is weird. The if you think the Mortal Kombat timeline is weird, looking up Final Fantasy timeline is just weird. You have to look up, like, there's games that apparently are part of the timeline that are on systems that don't even exist anymore. There's like, oh,
right.
this connects to that. How if you think that Mortal Kombat's complicated, you haven't seen nothing yet.
I hate when even movies do that. You know, they have sequels, and I'm like, how the hell does that connect to this and this connect to that? I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So, Final Fantasy is definitely one of those things. The only one that I liked was Final Fantasy VII. Make a movie about that one. I like how you have the corporation taking over at the beginning, and it's just a wonderful. So that and Chrono Trigger, I think, are two games they really need to make a movie about. The God of War would be good visually. Even though the CG and all that stuff like that, it would be out of this world. You know what I'm saying?
I'd also prefer if they tried to make new Resident Evil movies that were accurate to the games. There's games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. The movies they made weren't really connected to the to the games that well. I don't like the timeline of the games either, but the modern games that they have released for Resident Evil are really good, and I think they'd lend themselves well to a movie. But instead, Resident Evil went the action route and like went really strange movie wise compared to the games.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either, because that confuses me a lot too. And where you try to go too far from the source material, which really throws me off. I mean, visually it was okay. Hold on 1 minute. This is Nari. Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna close this up anyway. Let's recap, and then we'll do the shout outs. So, any other video games that you think needs to be changed to movies?
There's this game called Infamous, which is a good game. Uh, it's a movie about a man named Cole McGrath who becomes he gets he explodes because he's carrying like a bomb, and then he gets powers, and everybody sees him as a monster because he kind of blew up a city without knowing. He's just like a package guy. That's
No.
a game you should play 100%. Infamous and Infamous 2. They should make those into movies because they're just sitting on those stories, basically. And another game is Alice the Madness Returns, which is by American McGee. It is a game where, like, Alice in Wonderland based game where it's like dark and gritty, and it, like, is like a very good psychological film. Like, it could be potentially, if they made that into a movie, it'd be really good. And
Interesting.
those are two games that are very niche, that would be amazing games. Another one, like the final one, which I'm glad they actually made a show for, is Fallout, but a movie would be amazing for them to release. The
Yes.
show is amazing, but I hope to God they give them a movie budget soon so they can get something good off the ground. Because it proved that people are into Fallout, and they proved that they can make a good video game movie based around that concept, and I think that would be really cool. If only they didn't mess it up with Borderlands, which is a movie that came out recently that did not that had a similar concept of a post-apocalyptic future. That movie did not do well. Hopefully they do something good with the Fallout franchise in the future. And again, so many games should be adapted into movies, and with given how well Fallout did and how few other movies have been doing, I'm glad that they're opening up to more film adaptations.
Yes. Yes. But you know what? It looks like the YouTube fans are making better movies than the Hollywood movies are doing. You know what I'm saying? So, shoot, I wouldn't mind as long as it gets live action. And a lot of these games are so good. I need to catch up on my games. You need to email me a list or something. They'll just send it to me on Facebook. Speaking of which, guys, if you have an idea for the next podcast, please let me know. A couple of suggestions. People were saying that I need to do another one like Vanaris doesn't know anime because I've been trying to catch up on a lot of these animes. Some of them I can't even pronounce. I've been watching One Piece, My Hero Academia, what's that, Demon Sword or something like
Demon
that.
Slayer.
Demon Slayer. Is that the one
What's
I'm thinking about? What the girl who has the she's
yeah,
a
that's Demon
vampire?
Slayer.
Okay, that's Demon Slayer. Okay. So there's so many of them I have to catch up on.
What you need to
Um,
catch up on is Cobra Kai season 6, baby. Let's go.
don't say anything else. Don't. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen like first 5 minutes of it, and I totally yeah, that shows how busy I've been today. I didn't remember that Cobra Kai was coming out today until you told me. You like you need to see Cobra Kai the next part. I was like, oh, I can't watch YouTube anymore. They're gonna get spoilers. So thank you for reminding me, and I'm gonna close this out before. But if you have any ideas for anything that you guys want to talk about, like I said, I stray away from politics. Every now and then we'll talk about sex and stuff like that and relationships if you guys want to. But I try to keep it fun here. I do a lot of 80s and 90s nostalgia. We can talk about video games. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. I try to keep it fun. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Just let me know what you guys would like to talk about. Let me give my final shout outs. Where is it? Okay, well, I'm gonna get to that later. I guess I get to it now. If you haven't been on Amazon yet, check out my book Blackjack and the Beanstalk. It is now available on Amazon. It's a modern day version of Jack and the Beanstalk. It has nothing to do with magical beanstalks and ogres and all that stuff. It's an urban comedy. You know what I'm
I
saying?
bought a copy. It was really good.
Thank you, and I appreciate that, David, and I appreciate all the support you've been giving me. I don't want to get into too much description on it, but David has my back on here that he likes it. Like I said, it's like a if you like Tyler Perry and Mike Epps and those type of comedies, think more like that. And the Beanstalk is more. He isn't a beanstalk. It's an actual dude who's real tall, like smooth Snoop Dogg type character. So that's you. Think of a black version of Jack and the Beanstalk. Um, my girl Monique Silver. Check out her book on Amazon, Untold Lies of a Silent Heart. I'm reading through that book right now, and I'm going to give an analysis as soon as I get done with it. Jeffrey, I need to learn how to say your last name. Jeremillions. When happiness spreads, I need to get done with his book, but I am just giving shout outs for that. David has never heard of this production, so I'm gonna tell him about it, okay? Everest Productions on YouTube, the Juice Weezer. Tell everybody about that again.
Everest Productions is my friend Lord Crit's production company. We make I voice act for him. We do fan projects. We make fan Star Wars projects. We voice act. We have fun. We set up really good stories. If you don't like how modern Disney has been making Star Wars films, you'd love the way that we're trying to make it. Bring the fans what they want. We also do comic dubs. I play Robin, Tim Drake, in the Batman the Animated Series comic dub. And the Juice Weezers is me and my friend Jacob Ryan Medina. We play video games. We have fun. We stream sometimes. We haven't streamed in a while, but we will. And we just have some fun. We have a fun time. We game. We have a good time.
Okay. Thank you for that. Now we move on. My homegirl, Lovatia, she has a great web series on YouTube and other platforms. It's called the Lovatia Experience. You can, of course, Google that. It's about sexual wellness and a lot of other stuff. She talks about her life growing up, about a lot of stuff. Very fun, very sweet young lady. Barrington Marston's Productions. If you have not checked out the movie Abiding on Tubi, you are missing out. Please check out my boy Barrington Marston. Please do. Very professional individual. He has a lot of other movies coming out. I'll be all day trying to promote that. Also, my boy Lamar Hicks, the L Dog himself, Flavor in Your Podcast. He's taking a hiatus right now because he's an excellent father and husband, and he's handling his business. And he is going to take a hiatus from his podcast. He will start back in a few months. I will definitely keep you updated when he starts his podcast again. Um, my other book on Amazon, Planet Football and Heritage Kitten. So, if you have ever wondered why cats, if you've had cats and they get on top of the table and they tap stuff around and then they tap stuff off the table, there's a whole religion as to why they do these things. And there's a planet called Planet Furball in which this religion thrives from. And you guys got to check that out, okay? So, there's two major races or species. There's cats and there's rats, and they they're not like the cats aren't eating the rats, so they're living together. But the rats are the minority group who are getting troubled over. Just check it out. Check out my book, Planet Furball and the Heritage Kitten. It's a comedy, but it's also a drama. Okay, so it's what's it called? Where you take animals and you change them into like human form, but it's a whole nother planet. Oh, I forgot the anthropomorphic, I guess.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. I keep putting this up here and I haven't changed it, but usually play video games every now and then. If you guys have an old school video game you want me to play, or I have an Xbox One and I have 15 game systems from Atari 2600 to Xbox One. So if you want to see me play these games, even the arcade games, let me know. I'm also going to be doing movies, watch parties. And we're going to watch these movies. We're going to comment through them. It's not going to be live, but we'll watch them live all together. And once we make the comments on these movies, I'll splice those. So for movies that's, excuse me, 2 hours long, I could take all the comments out and it could probably be like 10, 12 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll post that later. So I have Coming to America, um, just a bunch of movies. Ghostbusters, whatever movie you guys want to watch from the past that I have on DVD, we could watch it all together. So let me see. And if you guys want to contact me, please, check out on YouTube. My channel is KillaKrane Productions, KillaKrane Productions. You can also email me if you would like any ideas for anything. KillaKraneProductions at gmail.com. KillaKrane Productions at gmail.com. You can reach me on the Instagram, Vinaris KillaKrane Productions. That's my first name, Vinaris KillaKrane Productions. I'm also doing fan fictions, and I think this is very important because Jaleel White, who plays Steve Urkel, they approached him about doing a Family Matters reboot or something, or legacy, where they continue on the story, and he rejected it. But I am doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm currently writing a story. If you guys want to help me out with it, that continues on. It's a movie, and it continues on the Family Matters storyline. It tells you what happened to Judy. It tells you what happened to everybody else, and it kind of closes it out. Because if you've watched Family Matters, the final episode, to me, it really sucked. The way that they ended that, it super sucked, and it didn't satisfy me at all. So I'm making this to just satisfy myself. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys want to be a part of it, just to show your love for the show Family Matters, let me know. And I'm also doing one from a different world too. Um, David, do you have any other thoughts, comments, suggestions for the next podcast?
Uh, I do recommend that we talk about some, uh, what's it called? What's the word I'm thinking of? Some movie, some adaptations of animes and stuff like that. Some more stuff like that would be cool because we touched a bit for a long while on video games being adapted into movies. I think we could discuss about the atrocities being made called the anime live action adaptation. They haven't made a good one. They have made One Piece, which is apparently good. I haven't seen it, but every other one has not been good from what I can see. So we could
Okay.
touch a little bit on these animated movies that these live action versions of animated movies that did not need to be made.
Yeah. Now I will say about One Piece, I've seen both the cartoon and the live action. They did a great job. Of course, there's only so much you can do in live action, but to me, I loved it. You know, the live action One Piece. So I actually recommend that for everybody. It's funny. It's animated. You know what I'm saying, so to speak. Um, the other ones I really haven't seen. Because I need to watch the originals first. Then I can tell you if the live actions are worth watching. Um, now you said one more time.
Hmm?
You now one more time. You said that we need to do more about animes and live action or adaptations.
Adaptations of live action adaptations of animated characters that did not need to be made. For example, what about Smurfs? Did that need to be made? Not really. Alvin and the Chipmunks, that kind of stuff, little goofy stuff that did not really need to be made into a big live action movie. And also adaptations of comic book movies that aren't really DC or Marvel. I think we could do something cool with that. Because like you got movies like The Crow, you got Kick Ass, you got Hellboy, all these movies that are not DC and not Marvel. Very good to take a break from the Marvel stuff and try something a little more off center. You know what I mean? Be really
Right.
cool.
You know the first thing that popped in my head when you were saying animated shows that shouldn't have gotten a movie. One of the first, actually two of them now, was Tom and Jerry and Yogi Bear. And I was like, that was just unnecessary. Didn't nobody else give a crap. You know.
Yep.
So yeah, man, that would be. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna put that on the list. You know. So animated movies that probably just didn't need a live action, and ones that do need a live action. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm finna get off. I'm gonna check on this Mike Tyson fight. They say it's gonna start about 11 o'clock. My daughter needs to be picked up from work, so I'm gonna pick her up. We're gonna watch this fight. If
Pick
you guys
yourself up. Pick
want,
yourself up some tacos while you're there, man.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. We're gonna need some nourishment to watch this fight. Probably take a couple of shots. I don't even drink alcohol, but just for this. So, interesting. So, if you guys want me to watch the movie live with you guys, let me know. But I'm finna end this podcast because it is actually it's 5 minutes over. You know what I'm saying? So, woo! Thank you for joining, David. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys who have been giving comments today. Daryl, Terrence. I saw a number of other people who are watching, like Brian. I appreciate all those who are watching. I appreciate all those who will be watching in the future. Please email me. Let me know if you have, and I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. What you call that thing? Uh, uh, uh Whatever. What is that thing
X.
called? Huh?
X is that what it's called? Twitter.
No, I don't do X anymore. That's just too weird. The one TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, you got TikTok. There you go.
Yeah, I forgot my name on TikTok. I think it's Venaris KillaKrane Production. No, it's Venaris being Venaris. That's what the name of it.
All right.
Yep. Hit me up on any of these. Let me know what I need to get a Discord, and David is going to help me with that.
You can just have Venara do that. She has experience with that stuff too.
Oh well, yep, she sure does because she probably got more experience than all of us. Excuse me, all of us put together. But every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the KillaKrane Speaks On podcast will be back, unless I say it's not. Some people wanted me to do it Saturday mornings. If you want me to, let me know if it works out better for you. But anyway, thank you guys. I'm finna get to this Mike Tyson fight, and gotta get there early. There's only gonna be a few punches before Mike knocks him out. So, all right, guys, take it easy.